What's up, everybody? I'm DJ Ghost with ThreatCon Radio, and we are on the road again with Broken Known Productions. I have here with me Mark the Machine Matthews. He's a professional MMA fighter, record 6-5, one no contest. He is a Sacramento native. He is fighting out of El Nino Training Center in San Francisco, California. What's up, my man?
What's up, man? Just chilling, you know, staying in shape, staying in the building. Came to Sacramento for the day, figured I'd drop in on my boys here at Ultimate Fitness. Man, this is the building where I got my roots at, and just, man, I just needed some good energy in my world today, so here I am, getting it on.
Hell yeah, bro. Hey, man, I met you for the first time in like early 2000. Remember that shit back in the day?
Yeah.
What brought you to MMA, man? What made you decide to want to fight and just be a fighter, bro?
Well, you know what? I'd always had a lifelong interest in fighting. I was a boxing fanatic my whole entire life. Like, up until about 10 years ago, I can tell you anything about boxing. And I got put on to MMA, and I was attracted to it because to me, it's a pure form of fighting. You know, it doesn't stop just because you're in a different area of the fight. You go to the ground, guess what? You can still get beat up. So, and you know, you don't have any gloves. You don't have these big pillows, you know, on your hands. And what actually motivated me to actually get into fighting is the day that my daughter was born. I drove home from the hospital to get my wife's overnight bag, and I've always had a punching bag. I was a boxing fan, and that's kind of like where I hit my meditative state at. You know, I'd always do my thinking while I was working on the bag. So I go out there and I'm punching on the bag, and like, I've already had a son, and you know, it's easy to raise a son. You can just be like, come with me, son, I'll show you what to do and what not to do. It's that easy. Well, when you have a daughter, the world changes. Your outlook on the world changes everything. So I was just standing there punching on the bag, and I was like, man, how can I have my daughter growing up in this world feeling secure without having to shelter her? Because I didn't want to hide her from everything that was wrong. I wanted to show her so that she would know better, but also know that she was safe. I started thinking of Brooke Hogan, because this is at the time that Hogan Knows Best was on TV. And I was like, man, her dad was the fake champion of the world, and look at the swag she has. I mean, all due respect, because I was a Hulk Hogan fan when I was young, brother. But yeah, so I started thinking of that, and I was like, man, what better way for my daughter to feel safe than for me? You know, like, I'd always wanted to be a fighter. Like, at that time, I'd always talked about it. People would talk me out of it because I was tattooing. What about your hands? Blah, 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 blah. I would listen to them. Well, now I had something that I really wanted to fight for, and because of, and at that moment right there, I made the conscious choice to get in the gym and get myself into what I thought was fighting shape, which I thought was just being big and buff as fuck, which isn't the case. But yeah, so I hit the weight room solid for a year, a couple times a day, did cardio a few times a day, and then I started looking for MMA gyms, and from that point on, like, my very first MMA workout, I got my ass kicked. I threw up about 8 times, but I loved it. You know, like, I loved it. Like, just the depths of yourself that you find in training, like, I'd never encountered that before. And I'm the type of person, I need challenges in my life to stay motivated. If I can figure something out or I get it too quick, I get bored with it. So, man, just, yeah, between my daughter being born and my very first MMA workout, like, I was done, hook, line, and sinker.
So when did you start fighting?
My very first pro fight was November of 2008. And I fought a smoker fight in May of that same year, and I'd only been training for about a year. By the time my first pro fight came, I'd only been training about a year.
So your debut, you can't even talk right now. Your debut fight, that was when you got that guy in guillotine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that video.
Yeah, well, man, the thing with that is, like, he was heavily hyped. He was supposed to be a factor. He had went to James. He was from James the Sandman Irvin's gym out in Roseville, Ultimate Training Center. And at that time, I was primarily based out of a really small gym up in Jackson called The Underground. What's up, Buster Nighthawks? That's a fight team up there. But man, I made some really good friends up there, learned a really good work ethic. And but to everybody else, it was a small school from the sticks. Well, they're looking to get this guy a win. So what better guy to put up a monster camp guy up against than the small guy from the sticks? Too bad for David, I was that guy from the sticks. So, like, I'm getting in my head, you know, but, like, I've always been a mentally strong person. I'm like, wow, man, he's gonna have James Irvin, Scott Smith, Tim McKenzie in his corner. And I just got to the point where I was telling myself, I was like, he needs them to fight. I don't need anybody. I fight because I want to. I'm not, you know, like, I just kind of, I put him on a different level in my head, and no matter where he went and what he did, like, I wasn't afraid, and I was gonna win that fight that night. And I came out and fought like that. And 60 seconds later, he tapped out to a guillotine after I rocked him on our feet. And like, man, the journey began. Well, the journey actually began before that, but that's when the journey got cemented, because when I walked into that cage, the concern on my family, friends' faces, you know, was evident. But when you can take all that away, and put a smile of relief and enjoyment on people's faces, like, that's half the reason I fight. Like, I want to put that smile, you know, on people's faces. You know, I want them to be proud. And I lived a rough start to my life, man. I wasn't really making a whole lot of people proud, so to be able to be in a position where I can do that by doing pretty much the same things I was doing when I was young in life, win-win for Mark.
Okay, now you're fighting April. What was going through your head as you were entering the cage?
All right, walking out to the cage, my corner, I like to get a really good warm-up. When I get warmed up, I'll start doing these little ha! And like, everyone thinks I'm like primally yelling, but I'm really not. I'm just I'm clearing out my airways. So my corner's like, man, just calm down. We don't want you to have an emotional dump. This is a big fight. So I walked out, you know, and I'm just really keeping myself calm. And I told my wife to tell me something before I went in the cage. Because usually she's right at the base of the cage and I can always give her a kiss and, you know, walk in. Well, for whatever reason, the way it's situated, she wasn't able to do that this time. But I heard her yell right before I went into the cage, enjoy yourself. Because everything I've been learning in camp, like, it's so much fun to know, like, this shit works. You know, and like, I just had a whole bunch of new things I wanted to try in that fight. And I heard her say it right before I walked in. So when I walked in there, I was like, yep, just be calm, enjoy yourself. I knew Mike was going to come out strong. I knew he was going to be really strong in the first round. And like, it was kind of my game plan to weather the storm. And once I felt him fade, put it on. And I felt him start to fade around the end of the first round. And I came out really strong to start the second. I think I caught him by surprise, stunned him, and then he shot in for a takedown, left his head right where I could snatch it up and finish the fight with the guillotine.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, fun, good fight. Yeah.
So you train out of El Nino Training Center in San Francisco. Tell us a little bit about that camp out there.
Man, it's a great building, man. I can't express the appreciation and just gratitude I have for the guys in that building. I came in off of the street just a few months ago when I moved to the Bay with my wife. We came up with a deal that if we moved to the Bay so that she could have make more income at her job, work more days, that she would allow me to train full time for a year solid to see what it's taking. So I walk into this building straight off the street. I don't know anybody. You know, Gilbert Melendez happens to be the guy behind the counter. I let him know my spill. And he was like, yeah, for sure, man, signs me up. And I mean, like, once I showed those guys I was ready to work, you know, I showed up at every practice that I could. And I mean, I was taking my lumps and I was giving some. And, man, they just opened up their arms to me, man. My jiu-jitsu coach, Dan Marks, kind of put me under his wing, man, and I just worked with him every single day all the way up until my fight. And just, man, just having that kind of support and that kind of reception in a new place where, I mean, by all means, I should have been kind of uncomfortable. I mean, like, man, there was no way I couldn't go out and win that fight to represent those guys because, you know, like, man, they put some time and effort in. I appreciate it, man. It's been a great building. Like I always tell people, I haven't met a single asshole in that gym yet. I've been there for 3-4 months now.
So, wow, explain to people how hard is it just to live an average life, but also try to be a professional MMA fighter at the same time?
Well, you know, if I had a structured 9 to 5, like, which I don't, I'm a tattoo artist, so I get to kind of pick and choose my schedule. And
he's damn good at that. I know, I've seen it.
Manifestmark.com. Check it out and see for yourself. But yeah, even with my freedom of schedule, it's really hard to do both. So I couldn't even fathom having a strict 9 to 5, 8 hour a day straight, and then have to hit the gym either before or after that. You know, it's difficult. It's a balance. I mean, and couple that with the fact that I have a family. It's hard to be a family man and a fighter, let alone a working family man and a fighter. You know what I mean? But like it all just comes down to balance. You know what I mean? You do your best to find balance, and sometimes you can go strong in one area of your world, which means another area is going to get neglected. As long as everything cycles back around, you can keep that balance and make everything okay. It's hard, and I mean, believe me, by no means do I have it down. I'm still learning on the job, and I've been training for 5 years now. But yeah, just got to keep trying, you know, trying for the balance.
Now, do you have any fights coming up?
I was going to be fighting June 9th against Jared Torgensen for West Coast Fighting Championships. He just fought Anthony Ruiz for their 205 belt. All these 205ers want to come down and think they're going to beat up little old me. But anyways, I either broke or dislocated or both my thumb in my fight with Mike. And yesterday was the first day that I had actually been able to even strike with my right hand. I haven't been able to hit a bag. I haven't been able to twist a cap off of a bottle. Like, it's been done. And the fight was almost a month and a half ago. Well, yesterday, after 2 weeks of not being in the gym at all, because I'm the type of person, even if I go in and say, oh, I'm just going to jump rope and shadow box, no, I'm going to grapple and I'm going to spar and I'm going to drill. So I just kept myself out of the environment, and it healed up pretty well. Yesterday, I told myself I wasn't going to use the right at all, but, you know, ended up hitting the bag with it one time, and I was like, that didn't hurt. I mean, it hurt a little bit, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I can't do that again. So, yeah, I started working it, and I worked about an hour on the bags using the right hand. The hand was fine, but that fight would be in 2 weeks from now. There's not, you know, I haven't been able to spar, I haven't been able to grapple, so I'm definitely not in fight shape, and I'm not going to go into a fight unprepared. So I had to withdraw from the fight, and me and Jared are going to do it again in September. I believe it's September 22nd, same venue. I'm not sure where it's going to be held at, but yeah, same promotion, West Coast Fighting Championships.
Yeah, so make sure you go check this shit out.
For sure. All right, John.
So, what's next in store for you? Like, where's the next level you want to be?
Man, getting to King of the Cage, you know, that's a good step up. I mean, I'd like to fight a few more fights and organizations of that caliber. King of the Cage, Tachi Palace. I want to get back into Tachi Palace. I fought for them a couple times. Didn't train correctly for the fights because honestly, I looked past the opponents that they put in front of me because they were guys by all means I should have beaten, and I just trained like that. And those fights taught me a lesson. That's your fight is won in the gym, you know. And if you're not getting your ass kicked in the gym, you're not going to kick anybody's ass in the cage. So, you know, I half-assed getting ready for those fights. The MMA gods taught me my lesson, and I'm ready to get back to those higher regional levels. Perhaps, you know, maybe even get a title shot at one of these local levels. I'm on a 3-fight winning streak, put together a couple more wins, you know, at these higher level regional organizations, and I'd like to get to Bellator, Strikeforce, or even a UFC undercard. I don't care. I just want to get to that upper level so I can say I did that. You know, not a lot of guys. I didn't even start choosing to fight or train until I was 32 years old. How many people in their 30s make a life decision, become a professional athlete, not only that, get to the elite level of it? I don't know of many, and if I can be that one to tell that story and make that my legend, man, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
So that's why I do this. That's why if you're a faker and you're just one of those guys fighting because it's cool, and you think Mark Matthews might be a good guy to fight because, hey, he's only 6-5, he's lost a lot, man, come see me. Right now, I'm going to tell you right now, with the camp that I have behind me, the people I have around me in my world, it's going to take a bad motherfucker to beat me. And I don't know anybody around here that's that bad right now. I might sound kind of arrogant saying that. I'm not. You know, everybody knows that I'm a really humble person, but I'm just getting to realize the tools that I have and how to use them. And a lot of people don't have that awareness of themselves. And I'm thankful to have been the places that I've been and be where I'm at now to get to learn this, because now that I know it, like, you're gonna see a powerful, all new, enlightened Mark Matthews, and like, I'm not gonna disappoint anybody anymore. And if I do go out there and get a loss, you guys better tip your hat to that cat, because man, he earned it. I'm gonna make him earn it.
Yeah. So where can everybody keep up to date with what you got coming up next? Is there any websites and links to go to?
Yeah, I always post all events on my website, which is www.manifestmark.com. I also have a Facebook page. Just do a search for my name, Mark Matthews, and there's a lot of Mark Matthewses out there, but my profile pic is me in the corner, my corner guys, you know, in my fight. So you'll be able to tell it's me, just stripping the hair and all that. And then I also have a Twitter account, twitter.com/manifestmark, and I believe that's it. Yeah.
Right on. Well, you've seen them, you've heard them, and you sure as hell don't want to feel them. This is DJ Ghost with ThreatCon Radio, on the road with Broken Doe Productions. We out.
Peace.